Hello everybody, this is Rob from the New York HobbyKing office, and today this video is going to illustrate some of the details in the C-130's wiring. C-130 is a relatively complex aircraft. It's got a lot of features. So if you've ever had any reason to remove a component or change anything, you might have difficulty putting it all back together so it works properly. We've come across this before, so this video is designed to help that. So I'm going to start out. When you get the C-130, obviously the gear and the door is going to be closed, and what I did is I ripped everything out and I pulled it all out so you could see all the individual components of each thing. The nose gear is relatively difficult to get out, so I left that in there, but you will see how it works and you will see the connections you need to make if it's disconnected or anything like that. I have the LEDs for the main gear doors and also the servos for the main gear doors. Those are going through the sequencer, obviously, to open and close at the right time, as is the front retract, the nose wheel, and everything else. There's the light on the top that goes through the throttle. The light on the top is only activated when the throttle is on. So if you get one and you turn it and you power it up and the light's not on, it just means your throttle's not up yet. And kind of the same thing goes for the cargo door. The light will activate when you open and close the door, so the light's not always on. So to get to it, I'm just using a simple servo tester that we sell on HobbyKing. And when you're testing, if you're testing it with one of these, make sure that you're using fresh batteries, because all this needs every bit of the 6 volts you'll get out of AA's. So again, when you get the plane, the retract doors are closed, the retracts are in the up retracted position. So I'm going to show you what happens when you first start out. You're going to just sequence the system, and it's going to start over with the cycle. So now the front door is open, the main gear doors would also be open, and the front door closes. That's correct. And the lights are on, but that's part of the cycle. This is why you have to do the cycle. So now we go back the other way, and when that door closes, that's at the beginning of the cycle. That's the default mode with the retracts up and all the doors closed, and you can see the lights go off. So again, this is how you should start out. And when you power everything up, you'll go through this. So flick the switch on your remote, let it go through the cycle, make sure it does all this, and then do it one more time. So it ends up like this. Lights off, doors closed, retracts are up. One more cycle, and everything's going to activate. All the doors open, lights come on, and the gears retract. If you ever need to remove your main gear, do it with the gear down, because there's a slot underneath where these wires are, and you can see them here. This piece right here, when the retracts are up, this is closed, and it's underneath, or above technically, this this piece of reinforcement here that the gear mounts to. So again, if you have any reason to remove your main gear, to replace them, or to change something, I changed the wheels on my C-130, so I had to do the same thing. Like I said, just do this when the gear's down. There's 4 bolts, they come out, and it pops out real easy. There's only one main line for the gear, and that goes to the sequencer board as well. And again, almost all these components go through the sequence board at some point or another. So now if we just want to, let's say we've landed and we're packing it up, we go back to the sequence, doors open, gear retracts, doors close, and the lights go out. That's the complete sequence. Alright, so we've seen the sequence, and I just want to remind everyone that these doors are still open because I took the servos out to show you the movement. It was a little easier with them out. So these would normally close with the retract mechanism, and we saw that the servos did operate. So to go through some of the wiring, from the nose, you've got the main retract, the retract steering, the nose wheel steering, and the door. Alright, so those 3 wires come in. 2 of the leads go to the distribution board, and one of them goes to the, I guess what we'd call this the junction board. There's so many boards I forget what to call them. But this one is for the steering, and that's just to the rudder. So that's just operating a servo in conjunction with the rudder. And so your rudder would also be plugged into this junction board. So they're both operating at the same time. And like I said, the gear and retract are going through the sequence boards, which are here, these 2 boards. And so they operate, so the door opens, the retract comes out, and then the door closes again for the nose. Same thing with the rears. So the rear retract is coming in here, The nose retracts coming in here, these 3 lines. And we have a document, I forget who created it, but we have a user that created this document that outlines all this wiring very, very clearly and very simply. And so kudos to who that was. If you see this video, please get in touch with us, because we'd like to reward you with a little something something for helping us out. That was really cool. So someone did the same kind of thing and dug through and went wire by wire and found out what goes where and put it in a very nice package for us. And I'll post a link to that, and I'll also post it at the end of this video. So I labeled everything here, and again, you can do this with that sheet that I just spoke about, but there's a throttle lead that's going to go to the LED light on top of the plane, the cargo lead and cargo door, I'll show you that in a moment, the landing gear doors for all of them, and same thing with this other board. So again, there's just different boards for different functions. They're all laid out and they're very organized. Getting back to the junction box, this is relatively straightforward. This is really just a multi-output router. So you have all the leads coming in. These would be the leads going to your receiver. And when they come in, they go to the junction box and they split all the leads out to the various things. You got aileron, elevator, rudder, flaps, and gear. And so to get this all to work out, actually you only need to have the one gear lead from this sequence board going to that. So none of the other pins, there's 4 sets of pins for the gear, you're only using 1. It just works out like that. And then the throttle as well. And the throttle, as you can see, goes to the wing leads. These are the wing connectors, and these leads will go to the ESCs. And obviously in the wing connectors you also have flap, 2 sets of flap, inner and outer, and aileron leads. So these are all, when you get the plane, these are all obviously already embedded in the plane. You don't have to mess with them, you don't have to touch them, and they all work as they should. When you get your plane, make sure to read the instructions about how to set up your flaps, because it's relatively tricky. It's not just like up, down, and because there's 2 sets of flaps, you can do it either way. You can either wire them into one channel on your radio, or if you have 8, 9, 10 channels, you can obviously separate them. I'm using a Taranis X9D and an 8-channel receiver, so I've got them separate. But you can certainly wire lead them in, it's fine. But that's about it for now. Like I said, I will add that sheet to the end of this video, and the link will be in the comments as well. And if you have any questions, obviously you can always reach out to HobbyKing and our support line and our chat line, available online, 24/7 chat, and our support ticket system. You can get in touch with our product specialists. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all our social media, Twitter. Get in touch with us there. We have a lot of cool features. And stay in touch with us. We always like to hear from folks, our customers. We always like to hear what you have to say about our products, good, bad, or otherwise. And we certainly like to see them flying and watching you have fun playing with them. So keep posting those videos and keep posting those comments and let us know how everything's going out there. All right, thanks and happy flying.